As dawn breaks over the rolling hills of Tennessee, golden light filters through the trees while the sound of distant horses echoes across the fields. How did a boy from Noonan, Georgia grow up to become one of country music's biggest stars and the owner of an estate like this? In today's video, we'll step inside Tennessee Estate, explore his collection of classic cars, his fortune, and the private life behind the hits. To understand why this estate matters, you have to know the man who built the legacy behind it. It all starts in Noonan, Georgia. Alan Eugene Jackson was born on October 17, 1958, and spent his childhood in a humble home built around his grandfather's old tool shed. Growing up in a working-class family, Jackson first found comfort in gospel hymns sung at church before falling in love with the honky-tonk sound of Hank Williams Jr. and the storytelling style of John Anderson. Those early influences would eventually shape his distinctive, new traditional country sound. By his teens, Jackson was already playing in local bands, and in 1983 he joined the group Dixie Steel, where he began honing his songwriting skills. In 1987, determined to chase his dream, he and his wife Denise moved to Nashville. Jackson took a mailroom job at the Nashville network, but fate intervened when Denise met Glenn Campbell at an airport and handed him Jackson's demo tape. Campbell connected him with a manager, opening the door to Music Row. By 1989, Jackson became the first artist signed to the new Arista Nashville label. His debut single, Blue-Blooded Woman, didn't make much noise on the charts, but it set the stage for his breakthrough album, Here in the Real World, 1990, which went double platinum and produced 4 top 5 hits, including the title track. From there, the hits came fast. Don't Rock the Jukebox, 1991, sold 4 million copies. A Lot About Livin' and A Little About Love, 1992, went 6 times platinum, and Who I Am, 1994, delivered another 4 million selling set. His straightforward lyrics and fiddle steel arrangements helped revive mainstream interest in traditional country music. During the 2000s, Jackson's star only grew brighter. Songs like Drive for Daddy Jean and Good Time topped the Billboard country chart, and he scored 9 number ones in that decade alone. His heartfelt ballad, Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning, written in response to 9/11, earned him a Grammy Award and cemented his status as the voice of ordinary Americans in extraordinary times. The 2010s showed no slowdown. Albums such as 30 Miles West, 2012, and Angels and Alcohol, 2015, both hit number 1 on the country charts. In 2014, the Country Music Hall of Fame opened a special exhibition on Jackson's career, and in 2021 he released Where Have You Gone?, a return to his roots. In 2022, he announced his farewell tour, One More for the Road, signaling the close of an era for fans who had followed him for more than 3 decades. With over 75 million records sold, 35 number 1 hits, and 10 CMA Male Vocalist of the Year awards, Alan Jackson stands as a true icon of the new traditional country movement, an artist who stayed authentic while achieving blockbuster success. And just as his songs evoke hometown roots and wide-open spaces, his real-life retreat reflects that same spirit. Tennessee Estate, Southern Gentleman's Lifestyle. Tucked inside a gated community on more than 4 acres, and surrounded by an additional 120 acres of protected green space, the property offers sweeping views of the countryside, yet is only a short drive from downtown Nashville. It's the kind of setting you might imagine from one of Jackson's lyrics. Elegant but down-to-earth, grand but rooted in tradition. Completed in 2011 and designed by architect Ron Farris, the 22,000-square-foot mansion is a stone and brick masterpiece that manages to feel both stately and welcoming. With 5 bedrooms and 7.5 bathrooms, it combines the charm of a southern plantation house with the functionality of a modern luxury home. The grand hardwood-floored foyer, crowned by a sparkling chandelier and framed by a sweeping artistic staircase, sets the tone as soon as you walk in. The kitchen is a chef's dream, outfitted with double ovens, a professional gas range, and custom cabinetry finished in a soft cream hue. Just off the kitchen are formal and informal dining areas that flow seamlessly into one another, ideal for entertaining family, friends, or visiting industry. VIPs. The master suite feels like a five-star retreat. It includes a private sitting area, French doors that open onto a balcony overlooking the manicured grounds, and a spa-style bathroom with a glass-enclosed shower and a double soaking tub positioned to capture the view of the rolling yard. Throughout the house, oversized living and family rooms are lined with floor-to-ceiling windows, flooding the interiors with Tennessee sunshine and framing the green hills beyond. Outdoors, the estate becomes its own playground. There's a resort-style swimming pool with an adjoining private bath and an outdoor kitchen for summer barbecues. The lush lawn is perfect for horses to graze or for grandchildren to run free, blurring the line between luxury and country living. Heated and cooled garages provide storage for up to 15 vehicles, a nod to Jackson's love of classic cars. More than just a home, this Franklin estate functions as Alan Jackson's Southern gentleman's lair, a sanctuary where he can balance the demands of fame with the rhythms of family life, songwriting, and caring for his horses. And as impressive as it is, this isn't his only retreat. Just wait until you see his Clarksville Lake home, which adds a different shade of Southern tranquility to his lifestyle. House in Clarksville, Georgia. Set on a 1.2-acre lot, the roughly 8,000-square-foot main house blends rustic warmth with high-end comfort, creating a true Southern escape that contrasts beautifully with his sprawling Tennessee hilltop estate. Inside, the home channels a cottage-chic aesthetic at a larger-than-life scale. Polished wood paneling lines the walls, casting a golden glow when the afternoon sun filters in through the expansive windows. A towering stone fireplace anchors the open-plan living and kitchen area, where a wall of glass looks directly onto the lake. So whether you're cooking, reading, or simply relaxing, the water is always in view. The kitchen's layout is designed for casual entertaining, flowing seamlessly into the living space with its overstuffed armchairs and warm lighting. One of the property's signature features is its two-story boathouse complete with a rooftop deck. In the summer months, this becomes the family's private marina, where kids and friends gather for sunbathing, fishing, or launching kayaks straight onto Lake Burton. In the evenings, the deck doubles as an outdoor lounge with sweeping views of the Blue Ridge Mountains, a summer hangout that feels like a resort but stays firmly rooted in homey charm. The bathrooms continue the theme of relaxed luxury. The main bath boasts a deep soaking tub positioned under a window so you can unwind with a view of the water. Downstairs, a fully stocked bar and game area transform the lower level into an entertainment zone for rainy days or after-dinner fun. Outside, a spacious rear deck stretches toward the lake, leading down to a flagstone patio with its own outdoor fireplace. Perfect for cool Georgia nights when family and guests gather around for stories and music. From almost every room, large windows frame the lake like a living painting, ensuring that the outdoors is always part of the experience. More than just a vacation house, this lakefront home acts as a counterpoint to the grandeur of Jackson's Tennessee estate, a place where the superstar trades stage lights for starlight and arena crowds for the quiet lap of waves. It's here that he and his family find a slower rhythm, hosting barbecues on the deck, morning coffee on the sun-dappled porch, and spontaneous jam sessions by the fire. And just like his homes, Alan Jackson's garage tells its own story, filled with rare and classic cars that echo the same blend of nostalgia and American craftsmanship. Car collection. This isn't just a celebrity's toy chest. It's a rolling tribute to the country boy who grew up idolizing the rumble of V8 engines. First up is his 1968 Shelby GT 500KR convertible, nicknamed King of the Road. Under the long hood sits a fire-breathing 428 Cobra Jet 5.8 that pushes out over 335 horsepower. conservative numbers by today's standards, but the real thrill is in the torque and soundtrack. Finished in deep red with white racing stripes and a drop top that begs for backroad cruises, it's a six-figure muscle car that defines late 60s swagger. Then there's his Ford Mustang GT350, another Shelby-tuned legend, but built with a track-ready edge. This one is about precision, stiff suspension, a snarling exhaust note that's more country rock guitar riff than polite hum. It's a car designed for drivers who want to feel every corner and every shift, something that clearly resonates with a performer used to commanding a stage. Next is the 1955 Ford Thunderbird, a two-seat convertible dripping in mid-century charm. Chrome bumpers catch the light like a stage spotlight, and the porthole windows on the removable hardtop scream vintage American dream. This is the car you imagine rolling up to a diner in on Route 66, top down, radio tuned to a classic country station, perfect for a man who's built his career on nostalgia and authenticity. Rounding out the lineup is the 1992 Dodge Viper RT/10, the most unfiltered machine in the collection. With a monstrous 8.0-liter V10 producing 400 horsepower and no roof, no ABS, no traction control, it's a bare-knuckle sports car that channels raw power instead of polished luxury. It's the kind of car that demands respect, much like Jackson's own approach to his craft. For Alan Jackson, it's not about showing off. It's about surrounding himself with machines that reflect his roots and passions. And just like his homes, his cars are part of a larger picture, a life built on music, hard work, and smart choices. Next, we'll uncover the secrets of how that passion turned into a fortune by looking at his sources of income and net worth. Alan Jackson has quietly built a fortune, estimated at $150 million as of now, making him one of country music's most successful and enduring earners. The backbone of Jackson's wealth is his record-breaking album sales. With more than 75 million records sold worldwide, his discography has generated an estimated $50 million from album sales alone, an extraordinary figure for an artist who has stayed true to new traditional country rather than chasing pop trends. Beyond physical and digital albums, his 35 number-one hits keep paying dividends through radio royalties, streaming platforms, and licensing deals for television and film. Every time a classic like Chattahoochee or Remember When spins on the radio or appears in a movie soundtrack, Jackson's royalty stream flows on. Touring has been another major pillar. Through the 1990s and 2000s, Alan Jackson's live shows consistently sold out arenas and amphitheaters. His Fruit of the Loom Comfort Tour alone grossed $40 million, and subsequent tours added tens of millions more, cementing his status as both a recording and touring powerhouse. Even in semi-retirement, the announcement of his farewell One More for the Road tour sent ticket demand soaring, proving his draw remains undiminished. Merchandising has also played a shrewd role. The Alan Jackson collection at Cracker Barrel, featuring everything from apparel to exclusive CDs, created a retail bridge between his brand and everyday fans. This strategy didn't just enhance his profile, it built a steady revenue stream that still pays off years later. Endorsements have been equally impactful. Partnerships with brands like Ford and Fruit of the Loom linked Jackson's image of dependability and Americana to products that resonated with his fan base. These deals, combined with ongoing streaming revenue and social media presence, now bring in an estimated over $6 million annually, even as his touring schedule has slowed. For a man who once played in bars for tips, the contrast is striking, but the trajectory feels inevitable given his talent and work ethic. And just as he's been deliberate with his business moves, Alan Jackson has also been purposeful with his giving back. Philanthropy. Alan Jackson's generosity has always mirrored his music, rooted in Southern values, quiet yet powerful, and deeply connected to the communities that shaped him. One of his most enduring relationships is with the American Red Cross, where Jackson has contributed to disaster relief efforts across the U.S., from hurricanes on the Gulf Coast to wildfires in California. His support has often been low-key, but insiders credit him with quietly underwriting logistics costs for several major Red Cross operations so that more donor dollars could go directly to victims. In 2015, Jackson joined forces with Habitat for Humanity to launch Project Housing for Good, which resulted in the construction of 300 homes for low-income families. This initiative reflected his belief in giving people a stable foundation, a principle he said he learned from growing up in a modest home built around his grandfather's tool shed. In 2021, after a devastating tornado tore through his hometown of Newnan, Georgia, Jackson staged a benefit concert that raised an astonishing $2 million for relief and rebuilding efforts. It was one of the largest single-artist fundraising events in the state that year and underscored his enduring loyalty to Georgia. Jackson has also put his touring power to work for health causes. On his last call tour, he pledged $1 from every ticket sold to the CMT Research Foundation, funding research into Charcot-Marie tooth disease, a rare hereditary nerve disorder. Fans attending those farewell shows became part of a larger movement to accelerate medical breakthroughs. Children's causes remain especially close to his heart. He has supported the Children's Dream Network, the Special Olympics, the Colon Cancer Alliance, Angel's House, a children's shelter in Newnan, and the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital, where he's funded music therapy programs and family care facilities. Each of these efforts highlights a different facet of Jackson's belief that communities thrive when their most vulnerable members are protected and nurtured. He also lent his star power to the Upper Big Branch Mining Disaster Relief Fund in 2010, helping to support the families of miners lost in the West Virginia tragedy. For many observers, this gesture signaled how his empathy transcends geography. Even when the crisis isn't in Georgia, Jackson steps in when working families need help. Taken together, Alan Jackson's philanthropic record tells the story of a man who has never forgotten his roots. Whether it's rebuilding homes, funding research, or giving children a chance at a better life, his actions embody the same authenticity and humility that made him a country icon. And while his music speaks to millions, it's these quiet, sustained acts of generosity that speak loudest about his character. Next, we'll step away from the public stage and look at his personal life, the family ties, long-time marriage, and Southern traditions that ground the superstar beyond the spotlight. Personal life. He married his high school sweetheart, Denise Jackson, in 1979, long before he became a household name. The two grew up together in Newnan, Georgia, and their marriage has spanned more than 4 decades, one of the rare, long-lasting unions in the music business. The couple raised 3 daughters, Maddie Denise, born 1990, Alexandra Jane, Allie, born 1993, and Danny Grace, born 1997. In 2022, Alan and Denise became grandparents for the first time when Maddie welcomed a baby girl, adding a new chapter to the family's story. Despite his global fame, Jackson has often said that family milestones, like Sunday dinners or grandchildren's first steps, mean more to him than any award. Their marriage hasn't been without challenges. In 1998, during the peak of his career, the couple briefly separated amid the pressures of fame, grueling tour schedules, and Alan's admitted infidelity. They reconciled after several months, crediting faith, counseling, and a renewed commitment to each other. Denise later wrote a best-selling memoir, It's All About Him, Finding the Love of My Life, detailing their journey back to a stronger marriage, which resonated with countless fans who saw in their story a mirror of their own struggles and hopes. Jackson's reputation as a Southern gentleman extends beyond his music. Friends and colleagues describe him as soft-spoken but firm in his values, loyal to his crew, polite with fans, and allergic to celebrity pretension. He still prefers his cowboy boots broken in, his sweet tea homemade, and his vacations low-key, often at his lake house with his daughters and grandchildren. In 2021, Jackson publicly revealed that he had been diagnosed with Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease, a rare hereditary nerve disorder that affects balance and mobility. He admitted that it caused him to be wobbly on stage, but emphasized that it was not life-threatening and that he planned to keep performing as long as possible. This honesty struck a chord with fans, many of whom admired his vulnerability and grit. Even on his farewell One More for the Road tour, Jackson sometimes leaned on a stool or microphone stand for support, but delivered the same rich baritone voice that had defined his career for over 30 years. From a tiny tool shed home in Newnan to the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, Alan Jackson's journey has been a classic American story of grit, faith, and melody. He rose from humble roots to build a touring empire worth millions, only to settle back into the peace of his Tennessee estate, surrounded by horses, cars, and family. With 21 albums, 35 #1 hits, a string of awards, generous philanthropy, and an enduring marriage, he stands as a Southern icon who never lost his authenticity. If you'd like to keep exploring the legendary country artists and the iconic homes that shape their lives, like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our next story.